What's up guys, it's Andrew from Motorcycles Off-Road, and now that I have a solid confirmation that I should have my 300L Rally within the next 2 weeks, I want to make a video to answer this question that I get asked a lot. The question is why? Why get the 300 Rally? On top of that, why get the Rally when you already have a 300L? And as you guys know, if you've been following since the beginning, I built this channel marginally around the use of the Honda 300L and all of its capabilities. So let's break down that question in this video, and I will tell you for what I believe is the pros to owning the 300L Rally. Firstly, I want to ask that if you are interested in 300L Rally, please check out the Patreon and consider subscribing. The reason for that is I'm going to do all my mods, my upgrades, my build list, everything for the Rally over there. There'll be tons of exclusive content, as well as much more content on the Rally as far as first previews, build lists, installations, reviews of parts, etc. So if you are interested in anything like that, check out the Patreon. It'll be linked in the first comment below, and that's the best way to support this channel overall. Also, we're going to start making t-shirts soon, and one of the tiers you get free t-shirts, so it means a lot to me if you guys would check it out. Okay, so the Rally, what is the appeal for me? I honestly feel the 300L Rally is set up perfect to do stuff like BDRs or a Trans-American Trail or long distance travel for a motorcycle. First, let's talk about the positives. You have super long service intervals, huge plus when you're going to be on the road for long periods of time. You have a huge stock fuel capacity, especially since how efficient this motorcycle is at using fuel. You also have Honda reliability with a proven motor that was also used in the 250L and now the 300L. It's built a pretty good reputation for being very bulletproof. Now let's talk about a couple negatives. Well, there's two that I can see right off the bat. One is suspension. Adding your body weight and the gear that you're going to take could tax the suspension pretty hard. It'll all be revealed soon, but I have the suspension issue already sorted out. Well, the patrons already know about it, but eventually you will see my suspension and a review on the channel. So that's a fix that I've already managed. And next would be highway speed. Some people will argue that you are limited with the speed with a smaller displacement bike, that you can't really get up with traffic. My 300L would go somewhere around the range of 80 to 85 miles per hour, which is more than enough for me, but I have addressed this as well. I once again am getting a 550 performance mod, which is the ECU, a velocity stack, and an airbox mod. This coupled with an exhaust really opens this bike up and gives you plenty more performance that if you wanted to go for high speeds on the highway and be able to overtake people in 6th gear. But once again, I didn't buy this bike for highway. Most of the travel I want to do will be avoiding the highway for this particular motorcycle. So in my opinion, these are the only two negatives I can see off the top of my head, and both of them have been addressed and will be fixed within the first month of owning the motorcycle. Okay, so what is the appeal of the Rally for me personally? Well, I think one huge thing for me is that I can build the 300L completely different and the Rally a completely different way as well. My 300L is mostly used as a street legal dirt bike. For me, a lot of my riding, you have to have street legality, and the 300L fits that purpose well. It's nimble and does everything I need it to do. It's completely capable. I mean, you can look at some of these videos. I'm climbing rocks, I'm jumping over stuff, I'm going through sand whoops, I have no problems. And also, I would like to step up into the light adventure market. I feel like this is a market that could really take off, and for good reason, because it's very comfortable to ride a motorcycle like this on and off-road. Sure, I do have my Tenere 700, but the thing about that is, I know from riding both the Tenere and the 300L, and even in a back-to-back video, there's much more I can do with a 300L than I could do with the Tenere 700 off-road. Now, sure, that might be because my skills are limiting me, but it's just reasonable to say that it's harder to take a 500-pound motorcycle through single track than something like 350 pounds after all the crash bars and mods, etc. Like the stuff I have on the Tenere. So those to me are two key reasons why I'm very excited for the 300L Rally. Also, it gives me another bike to wrench on. I've done pretty much all the modifications, barring a few small things, that I would do to 300L. And on top of that, it brings more content to the channel for you guys to enjoy, for me to enjoy, because after all, I like doing this. Okay, now guys, before we move any further, I want to ask you guys some questions. First, I want to ask you guys, which bike do you have if you're watching this? Do you have a 300L? Do you have a Rally? If you don't have either, which one would you rather have? Next, do you think I'm crazy for buying a 300 Rally after I've had the 300 for this long? Do you think it's kind of crazy to have both? Let me know in the comments below. But honestly, for me, it's a couple-fold thing. One, I would really enjoy having the new bike, but two, I feel that this channel has become one of the leading channels for Honda 300L content, if not the leading channel. And I say that because I'm in multiple Facebook groups for the Honda 300L. And every time someone asks a question, I've already made a video on it. And sometimes they even say, hey guy, check out this video. I broke down everything. And I always get like a thumbs up and thanks. So for me, I almost feel like it would be a disservice not to explore having the 300L Rally and modifying it in a different way for the people that are more into adventuring. For example, I've seen people in Australia, they travel long distances, then they go out and ride, and I feel with a little bit of modification, the 300L Rally would be a perfect bike for them. I mean, we've already went over how far you can travel with this motorcycle. We already went over how capable it is. And for moto camping and exploring the outdoors, I don't think there's much better. I mean, of course, you could make the argument that, hey, you could do more on a bigger bike like the Tenere, the Africa Twin, or anything like that. But that's just a matter of it's a heavier bike, it's faster on the road, and you can carry a little more luggage. But honestly, we don't need all that. And the funny thing is, I actually had a commenter one time. He saw my Tenere 700 and my 4 to 5 day gear pack, and he was like, wow, you have all that gear, you need that. Look at Itchy Boots, she's traveling the whole South America and through America, and she doesn't even have close to that. Yes, and you also have to understand, she's not camping. The big difference is I'm removed from all civilization, Wi-Fi, all that for 4 to 5 days at a time. She gets to go to different hotels. She doesn't need bedding. She doesn't need all that. I've never seen her camp. So that's a completely different thing. And on top of that, I was also reviewing and trying out multiple sleep systems, which took up a lot of my gear. I mean, the self-inflating roll-up bedroll is pretty big, and that filled up most of my rear bag. But now I'm not going to use something like that. I just decided I'm just going to use my normal blow-up air mattress, and that's it. So I can get away with taking a lot less gear. Also, I was cooking my own meals. So I needed a way to make fire. I needed a firebox. I needed all these things. You could also avoid that with a smaller bike. And I was traveling alone. I have a lot of friends that are into moto camping, and I feel like I inspired them to get into moto camping. And when we travel as a group, I don't have to take all the tools myself. I don't have to take all the cooking materials myself. We can split these up in small portions among the whole group, and therefore I don't need to carry as much. So these are all reasons why I feel like the 300L Rally is going to be a great fit for me. And if you're really into motorcycle camping, you know at least a couple times you carry more than you need. And sometimes you bring extra stuff just to experiment with. And little by little, you refine and work your way down to exactly what you need. And back to traveling in groups, if you're with everybody that has 21/18 front and rear tires, then of course every single person in a group doesn't need tubes, depending on how many people you have. But let's say you take a group of 3, I would take 2 21s and 118 amongst all 3. The reason why is because the 21s can also go into the 18 rear if you happen to have 2 18 blowouts. The 18 can't in reverse, but in my experience, I usually don't have too many blowouts out on the trail when it comes to moto camping and traveling like BDR type stuff, because I'm not just straight climbing up rocks with all my luggage on and stuff like that. And generally you have a little bit higher air pressure. So I know all that was a bit of a rant, but I just wanted to ask you guys what you guys thought, and on top of that express my exact free opinions anecdotally with why I want this motorcycle without any facts or specs or anything like that, just speaking freely. Because honestly, if you guys are watching this long, then that means you're my true subscribers, you're my true supporters, and for that I really thank you. My analytics suggest that before now, a big majority of drop-off happens. People click on the videos, they get their information, they feel that is a transaction, and then they click off. But there is a good portion of people that watch them to the end, and there is a good portion of people that really support me. I mean, I think YouTube said I had like 60,000 unique viewers in the past few months, and yeah, my channel has like 12,000 subscribers. So as you see, a lot of people watch and don't subscribe. So if you are that person, you are watching this long, I really would appreciate a sub. And keep in the loop, because we're going to keep moving forward. Shout out to my Patreon guys. These guys are awesome, supporting me from the beginning. Now we're moving into pressing and making our own motorcycle and off-road t-shirts. I'm excited. But until next time, guys, my name is Andrew, and this is Motorcycles Off-Road. Stay safe out there.